Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New Jersey IDD Youth Transitions Conference. We are thrilled that you are taking the time to watch this pre-recorded session. This conference is created for youth and young adults who experience an intellectual and/or developmental disability, their caregivers, and the professionals who serve them. We are so grateful to have the chance to share some valuable resources from our community. Our theme this year is Navigating the Hero's Journey. We believe that we are all the heroes of our own story, each with a unique challenge to overcome and lessons to learn. However, none of us walk our paths alone. Together, we support each other, witness each other's losses and triumphs, and build a world full of stories worth sharing. We are excited to introduce our next session and our wonderful presenter, Ms. Pam Brooks. She will be discussing self-direction as a senior account manager from Public Partnerships PPL. We are thrilled to have Ms. Brooks with us today to share her insights and expertise. Let's give a warm welcome to our presenter, Ms. Brooks. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and hello, everyone. I'd like to thank you, April, so much for that beautiful introduction. I'd like to also thank in advance, before my presentation, the YTC Planning Committee for inviting Public Partnerships PPL to be a part of this annual New Jersey Youth Transition Conference again this year. And with that, no further ado, the title of our presentation for today is Self-Direction, The Choice is Yours. And again, I'm very happy to be here on behalf of PPL. Our agenda for this presentation will include the following. What is self-direction? It'll also provide models of self-direction, the role of the fiscal intermediary, which is PPL. It'll provide self-direction roles. I'll also go through our enrollment process, and also we'll discuss the self-directed employee mandatory trainings. So what is self-direction? For those of you who may be new, just want to let you know that self-direction provides extreme flexibility. And the reason that we say the choice is yours when you are enrolled in one of our programs is because the participant or the consumer gets to choose who, when, what, and also how. So let's go with the benefits of self-direction. Who? Self-direction allows the individual or yourself, the consumer, the participant enrolled in the program, to select and hire whom they wish to provide basic non-medical assistance for them in their home. When? Self-direction allows individuals to determine when it's convenient to be cared for in their home. The consumer or the participant sets the best schedule for themselves. That makes for great flexibility. Self-direction also offers the freedom for one to plan his or her own care. So the what includes and allows individuals to determine what kind of care you need. They may hire staff to assist with such services as bathing, dressing, and grooming. Many individuals hire staff to also assist with errands, meal preparation, chores, and also transportation to doctor visits. And lastly, but not least, how. Self-direction allows individuals to determine how they receive the care that they need in their home. So we just want to talk a little bit about the models of self-direction. Self-direction, one model is the agency with care, and a second model is the vendor fiscal employer agent model, which is the model that PPL offers. So I'll go through the roles and responsibilities, and we'll let you know through this presentation how agency with choice handles that role and responsibility, as well as how PPL, the vendor fiscal employer agent model, handles that role and responsibility. So the EOR, or the employer of record, is one of the roles played in self-direction. If you're serving as an EOR and you're with agency with choice, the agency is actually the employer of record. If you are with PPL, the vendor fiscal employer agent, you, the individual who's enrolled as the employer of record, identifies a family or friend to do that role for you. Now, while you're hiring a self-directed employee or an SDE under the agency with choice model, the individual manager or employer actually hires the self-directed employee. However, with PPL, who's the vendor fiscal employer agent model, the actual individual actually hires the self-directed employee. So the individual who's enrolled in the program under the PPL model is actually hiring the self-directed employee. Who sets the pay rate for the employee? Under agency with choice, the individual managing or employer actually sets the pay rate for the employee. The EOR, or the employer of record, under the vendor fiscal employer agent model with PPL actually sets the pay rate for the employee. The role of setting the workers' compensation policy under agency with agency with choice, the agency actually holds the workers' comp policy. However, under PPL's model, the vendor fiscal employer agent model, the EOR also holds the workers' comp policy themselves. And with agency with choice regarding service documentation, the agency validates the completion of the service documentation. Under the vendor fiscal employer agent model, which is PPL, the EOR, or the employer of record, actually validates the completion of the service documentation. So what is the role of the fiscal intermediary? The fiscal management services, which is PPL in this case, provides assistance with distributing payroll, paying invoices, deducting required state and federal taxes and insurance, and monitors the budget amounts that each consumer or participant who is enrolled in the model receives. The vendor fiscal employer agent model of self-direction is intended to give individuals, as I had already mentioned, maximum choice, flexibility, and full control over how and when services are delivered and by whom. The individual, together with his or her service planning team, makes the decisions about support services and takes a direct leadership role in ensuring that services are delivered to his or her satisfaction. Again, a great benefit of self-direction. The key components of the model are the employer authority and the budget authority models, and I'll go through them with you. Under the employer authority, the individual who is enrolled actually serves as the employer of record, again, we call that the EOR, and hires a self-directed employee, or an SDE, to deliver services funded through the individualized budget. The budget authority provides the individual with full control and flexibility over his own budget to purchase a range of goods and services. The individuals have additional flexibility to use their self-directed funding, not only to hire self-directed employees or SDEs, but also to purchase other goods and services not typically provided through traditional agencies. And the individual employer can negotiate a rate of pay within the Division of Developmental Disabilities approved ranges. Just wanted to give you a little bit of information regarding the number of consumers that we have enrolled in PPL under the 3 New Jersey programs. In the DDD program, or the Division of Developmental Disabilities, we have over 10,000 consumers enrolled in the DDD program. In the Personal Preference Program, or the PPP program, we have over 33,000 consumers enrolled in the PPP program at PPL. And the JAC program, we have over 1,500 consumers, and that's the Jersey Assistant for Community Caregivers program. which serves 60 plus in age consumers. And again, we have over 1,500 consumers enrolled in that program. Next, I'd like to discuss with you and inform you, for those of you who may be new to self-direction, that there are several roles involved in self-direction, and I would like to let you know what those roles are. There is a support coordinator that will work with the employer and the consumer throughout their partnership in PPL. The role of the support coordinator facilitates the planning process and creates the individualized service plan for the consumer. They also work with the individual to determine the number of hours of service that can be provided by the self-directed employee each week. There's an optional support broker position that consumers are able to have, and they serve as the agent for the individual. They help identify immediate and long-term needs, and they help develop options for assessing identified supports and services. Again, that is an optional role afforded to the consumer. And then you, as the employer of record, get to determine the self-directed employee's responsibilities to ensure services are provided in accordance with DDD service definitions. The other role of the employer of record is they get to review and approve the employee's timesheet biweekly. Two additional roles are, as I've mentioned earlier, the self-directed employee. So the consumer gets to hire who they'd like to provide services to them in their home. And the role of the self-directed employee is to provide services for which they are hired by the employer of record. And lastly, there is an authorized representative, or an AR. While the individual should always serve as the EOR, or the employer of record, they may appoint an authorized representative to assist with the associated administrative duties, if so desired. Next, I'd like to take you through the steps to enroll for the enrollment process here at PPL. There is a New Jersey DDD specialist who works at PPL, and their role includes the following. The DDD specialist does assist support coordinators and their assigned consumers throughout the enrollment process. And that includes preparing the consumer for the role as the employer of record, or the employer. They also assist enrolling their support employees, or their self-directed employees, SDEs, and performing background checks, which is a required activity. They also provide outreach and education on self-directed services and DDD service offerings within the community to advocacy organizations and stakeholder groups to increase program awareness. The DDD specialist also provides ongoing and timely communication regarding where you are in the enrollment process. Below here on this slide, I'll just go briefly through the steps that the DDD specialists do provide for you as part of their role. So PPL receives a referral from the support coordinator. The DDD specialist completes the welcome call. They also complete the enrollment walkthrough with the consumer. The DDD specialist processes the enrollment package, including the background checks of the SDEs. And again, they provide updates to the support coordinator and conduct the EOR orientation with the families. Next, I'd like to discuss with you the New Jersey DDD self-directed employee mandatory trainings. There are several requirements that an employee, prior to or once they are enrolled, must complete in order to continue in the program. The requirements include that the employees must complete DDD required trainings within the first 6 months or 180 days of hire. DDD does require the mandatory trainings as part of the program to ensure that all self-directed employees are properly credentialed to ensure the safety of the participants. PPL will register the employee for the College of Direct Support's trainings. Most of the trainings will be provided online and self-guided through the CDS, which is College of Direct Support. The DDD specialist does assign the required trainings when enrolling the self-directed employee. CPR and first aid training is classroom-based and recertification is required every 2 years. So on the right of the screen, you'll see what the required trainings are. And in addition to those, the CPR and first aid, while they are required within the first 6 months, are also required once every 2 years. And I also want to note that the New Jersey DDD does reimburse the self-directed employees for the training hours and fees put forth for these required trainings. The required trainings are as follows. There's the DDD life-threatening emergencies, or also called Danielle's Law. There's the DDD Stephen Camino's Law training, DDD Shifting Expectations, and the DDD Prevention of Abuse, Neglect, and Exploitation, models 1, 3, 4, 5, and 7. As noted, CPR and first aid are also required and must be completed within the first 6 months of hire and are also required once every 2 years. And if applicable, the employee must also complete the medication trainings. And as mentioned, the CPR and first aid trainings are required once every 2 years and are reimbursed by New Jersey DDD. Next, I want to provide you our contact information. There are phone numbers for our customer service line. We also have a customer service email. Our customer service hours at PPL for the program are open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. The phone number in English to dial if you have any questions or inquiries is 1-844-842-5891. And if you are Spanish speaking, that number is 1-844-842-5892. And such inquiries for those lines are if you have portal registration inquiries, if you need log-on assistance or training, if you need assistance with understanding your timesheet, payments, or earning statements. We're also open to discussing with you payment status, enrollment support and status, and authorization details received by PPL. If you have not heard or received your response in a timely manner, perhaps within 2 or 3 days, we do have an escalations department at which you can email our escalations department at njdd-admin@pplfirst.com. In addition to that, we also receive faxes. Our fax number is 1-844-561-5978, and our fax email address is njdd@pplfirst.com. Such forms that are faxed are the enrollment forms, the rate change forms, which come from the support coordinator, verification of employment, any vendor invoices that vendors are sending in to PPL to be paid, training certification forms that are required as part of the process. As mentioned earlier, employees do have 6 months to complete the required trainings. And once those trainings are completed, we ask that the employer of record submits the training certification forms so that PPL can reimburse the employee. And we also receive via fax or email the CPR first aid recertification form once the CPR and first aid trainings are completed. That is the information that we receive in the form so that we know how and when to reimburse for those trainings. And we also have an email address if you have any questions regarding the training requirements that I previously discussed. And that email address is njdd-training ppl1st.com. And once you are enrolled, if you want to fax your timesheets in to be paid, and that's for the self-directed employees, that fax number is 1-844-231-4793. That does include my presentation for today from PPL. I hope that you do see the many benefits that self-direction does afford. Again, it's your complete control and flexibility of how, when, what, and where. And I'd like to again thank the YTC Planning Committee for having invited PPL to be a part of the annual New Jersey Youth Transition Conference. It's an amazing conference that we look forward to annually. Again, April, thank you so much for allowing me to be here with the participants today. And I'd like to thank the participants that are watching this conference. If you'd like to reach out to me directly, I will give you my name again and my email address. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email. My name is Pam Brooks. I am the Senior Account Manager at PPL for the New Jersey programs, PPP, DDD, and JAC. And my email address is pbrooks@pplfirst.com. Thank you again, April. My pleasure for being here.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ms. Brooks, for sharing your valuable insights with us today. We truly appreciate your time and your expertise. And thank you to everyone who has taken the time to watch our presentation today. We hope that you learned something valuable and you feel inspired on your own hero's journey. Please be sure to check out our website for other pre-recordings and resources that we've shared. Your journey doesn't end here, and we are here to support you every step of the way. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.